What is up, Wizards fans? Welcome into the Department of Hoops pregame show. I'm Matt, he's DJ, and the Wizards are playing tonight in Mexico City against the Miami Heat. It's a 9:30 tip-off, which is why we're starting so late here. So, DJ, thank you for joining me late night on this one.
Thanks, man. Happy to be here as always, and looking forward to see what this game brings.
Says a lot about us and where we are in our respective adult lives here that we're watching and talking about a Wizards game at 9:30 on a Saturday night, but it's a healthier option than whatever else we could be up to on a Saturday night, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my wife would agree with that
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
mine too. Yeah, so she was sitting with me and watching some Cooper Flag reruns from earlier in the week here. I'm just getting ready for next season already. We're super locked in. We're so locked into this season that we're locked into next season as a part of it. So should be good. Before we get too far into it, as always, we're brought to you by Stateside Vodka and their Surfside Hard Iced Teas, Hard Lemonades. Literally every flavor is amazing. And brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is your world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, NHL to entertainment and political props, head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, so the Wizards 2-2, which I would not have bet on if you'd asked me before the season, and the Miami Heat also 2-2. And just pulling up the standings right now, they list the Wizards at 7 and the Heat at 8. So this is actually a playoff matchup 4 games into the season, which not something I would have, like I said, predicted. But hey, we'll take it. The record will be what it will be. But I guess just DJ, to start out, like, what are you most looking forward to seeing in tonight's game?
I'm gonna switch it up. I'm actually looking forward to the Bam Adebayo and Sar matchup. Right, I think
Okay.
that's going to be pretty interesting considering Bam's pretty versatile.
Sure.
Bit of on the smaller side of a big, but
Mm-hmm.
can put the ball on the floor. Not as tall
Mm-hmm.
as Sar, but it's going to be interesting to see if Sar can match Bam's energy that he brings on the offense and defensive end, right? So,
Yeah.
Bilal, at this point in time, I'm just convinced Bilal is just a star. So I expect him to take on Hero or whoever, right? Poole, maybe not as thoroughly convinced, but promising, right? Really liking what we're seeing from there. But no,
Mm-hmm.
it's that Bam and Sar matchup. That's what has me excited tonight.
Yeah, that's a great call. And it's interesting because, like, one of the things that Sard I thought did really well in the preseason and during summer league, even when he kind of struggled, was just passing the ball really well. And that's something that Bam does better than probably every big in the NBA not named Jokic. So I think that would be
Right,
a
right.
really interesting thing for them to see. Like, can Sar steal a little bit more of that, like, kind of Bam Adebayo game to him? And that'd be like a huge development because all the other guys, they move the ball well. And if Sar can also be kind of not like an initiator of offense, but a guy you could play through a little bit more in the high post and things like that, that just unlocks so many more options for them, like, long term. So that's a great call, and I'm looking forward to seeing that one as well.
Yeah, the potential's there, right? I mean, you've seen it in the last really two Atlanta Hawk games that
Mhm.
we've won, which is just so absolutely
Yeah.
amazing, right? And
Right.
just the euphoria in my head just about those two wins. But um, yeah, no, just you see the potential, and he's taller, his wingspan, right? All the measurements check out where it's like he can be a bigger, better Bam, right? In a sense, I
Mhm.
know that wasn't his comp, but
Sure.
hey,
No.
if you can get some of the passing, skill in there, if you can, even get a tenth of that Jokic gene, whatever it is, hey, look, I'm all down for it, right? So, it's gonna be a good year for him, and this is definitely gonna be a really good test for him tonight, for sure.
I'll take it the other way then, and just go back to something you said about Koulibaly and what matchup he takes on tonight. I'm curious if, like, Hero's coming off a big game against the Knicks, I want to say, where he had like 34 points, but does he guard him? Does he guard Jovic? Does he guard Butler? I think it'll be really interesting to figure out, like, what the scouting report is for them against the Heat, just based on how they kind of match that up. My guess though is that it's either Hero or Butler, and either way, he's still going to get tested. So I think that'll be cool to see too.
What kind of scenario would that be if you had Butler, right, versus Bilal, and then just the back and forth that's probably going to ensue on the offensive, defensive end, just down and back on the court? Like, I was thinking about that. That was kind of like my first choice that I was thinking about, but I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, seems like I don't know what that's going to turn into, but it's all very interesting. So my guess is that we'll probably see him more on Hero,
Yeah.
right? And Hero's very streaky, right? Can just shoot the lights out the gym. So more than likely, we'll probably see Bilal on him for more than a few possessions.
Yeah, that makes sense, and Butler's not been as explosive of the 2 scoring-wise this year. I mean, Butler's having, a solid, 17, 5, and 6 kinda year, which is really good, and he's versatile and, he tests you in some certain ways, but Hero is probably, like, the more dynamic scorer, I think, at this point. He's averaging 22, 5, and
Right.
5 on 43% shooting from 3, so I feel like if you can shut him down, that's a pretty big boost for your chances of winning, and then see what Keyshawn George can do against, like, a more veteran guy like Hero, or do you put, Bub on one of these guys? Like, Bub's gonna have to guard one of these other guards, and I think you're probably gonna see Poole mostly guard Terry Rozier would be my guess, just because he's probably the least, like, I don't know, explosive a scorer of that group, although I think, Rozier's also having a pretty good offensive year so far, averaging 19, 5, and 5. So either way, like they've got just some solid dudes, and I think those matchups are going to be really interesting. And I guess we probably should have started with this as the starting five for the Miami Heat. For anyone not familiar, Terry Rozier, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Nikola Jovic, and Bam Adebayo. And then for the Wizards again, it's Jordan Poole, Bub Carrington, Bilal Coulibaly, Keyshawn George, and Alex Sarr. So I think these teams actually match up pretty well. So I think this will be another fun one to see.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier with Rozier, and I just immediately just had trauma because again, it seems like almost every team in the association,
Oh,
there
Wizards
has to
killer.
be wizard killers. There's at least
Yep.
one that's known as a wizard killer. And I think about Terry Rozier, I just like dang it, like this guy has been known to like light a fire on our team on any given
Mhm.
night, right? So there's that. I actually want to ask you a question, right? And maybe we'll find out more about this in the post game, but
Mhm.
right, the Heat are sitting at 2-2,
Yep.
right? We don't, the way, and I've only watched one game, and it didn't really look like they're the same Heat team that we've seen, right? Again, small
Mhm.
sample size, 2-2.
Sure.
Do you think the Heat are kind of on that cusp of a rebuild like we are, right? We know we've heard people talk about that, especially after two games into them, right? Like they're holding
Mhm.
on to something they shouldn't hold on to. You've heard these trade rumors about Butler. I don't know. I'm
Yep.
curious about what your thoughts are. I mean, if this young group here pulls out a W here tonight, you know, are the Heat looking at a rebuild too?
It's interesting, and it's a great question. My gut is that Pat Riley doesn't have another rebuild in him. He's gotta be, like, in his late 70s at this point, so, like, maybe I'm making that, like, overaging him. Let's actually see how old, Pat Riley is in real time here, but to me, it's just yeah, he's 79, so, like, is he
He
gonna
doesn't.
wanna go through that? Like,
No,
and Jimmy
hell no.
Butler's 35, so my gut is that they probably just, like, play out the rest of his, like, usable prime in the NBA here and just maybe make some pieces. So I'd go the other way with it. Like, are they an all-in team to the
Yeah.
point where you might see them trade off some of these younger guys in an attempt to get a few more veteran players? Like, could this be a Kyle Kuzma destination potentially? I would have liked him to play in this game and play well because maybe they could have sold themselves on him being somebody that they need to go out and get. But alas, not to be. But it's a good question. So I think the first 10, 15 games are going to be really interesting for that team to figure out kind of what if they start off really slow, they're either going to make some panic trades or maybe people are unhappy and they do decide to blow it up.
And look, I'm looking at the standings right now, right? And like you said, right, 7 and 8 respectively.
Mhm.
But I mean, the league is volatile, right? At any
Sure.
given moment, you can go on a winning streak or losing streak. But I mean, the top right now is again small sample size. Some teams have played 6 games, some teams have played 4 games. But Cleveland 6-0, Boston 6-1, New York 3-2, right? That's kind of where it starts to drop even, and they can kind of go back and forth there. But you
Mhm.
know, when you think about the Boston's, the way Cleveland's playing, I don't see a world where that current Miami Heat team is really doing any damage. And then even the young pieces they have, I'm not sure. Even if you do pull Cruz, to me that doesn't get you right to where you need to be. So I mean, they could easily try to go all in. I don't know what young pieces are going to garner, another superstar to try to help Butler because
Mhm.
that's exactly what you need.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think especially tonight, if it looks anything like, you know, these young kids can pull out a win against the Heat, I think you just kind of have to consider it.
This is one of those things where, like, every couple years, the Heat will have a sluggish stretch, and, like, I don't know, people start, pouring dirt on top of them and calling 'em done, and then they go out and they beat, the Celtics in the playoffs and, like, totally upset them. You're just like, "Wait, what? How
That's
did
true.
this team do that?" So I just they're, like, the one team I never, like, totally rule out, and could Nikola Jovic get it going? He's been okay so far this year, averaging 10 points, about 5 rebounds, about 2 assists. My absolute favorite guy probably from that particular draft, last year of, like, the non-us guys was Jaime Jaquez, and, he's averaging about 9, 7, and 3, which is solid, but he's not shooting below 40% from the field. Again, early sample size, 67% from 3, which is crazy on low volume, but still, uh, they've got a couple dudes there between the 2 of them, Jovic and Jaquez, that maybe other teams would wanna like, make a deal for, so they could get something done, but they'd have to give something up, in the process. So I think just that is probably the bigger storyline from this game, is just what is this Heat team? What are they trying to accomplish? I don't see Pat Riley being content with them being like someone that hangs around the 8 seed all
No,
year.
absolutely not. That's not Pat's. Mm-mm. No.
Yeah, so they'll make a move one way or the other. So it's a really good question, and yeah, these are kind of early results will tell them, I think, which way they need to go. For the Wizards, I'm either too negative or way too positive. So I don't know how to even share how I feel about the season thus far. But look, like, they got rolled by the 2 good teams they played, and their 2 wins are against, like, a beat up Atlanta Hawks team. So I think tonight is an opportunity to see, like, the real Washington Wizards for this year. And again, this is not like an overwhelming Heat team, but you got some smart, savvy veteran guys on this group, and people like we haven't mentioned, like a Haywood Highsmith, like, it's a better player than he gets credit for, and Alec Burks, and, like, I know Thomas Robinson, or sorry, Thomas Robinson, combining Duncan Robinson and Thomas Bryant. Like, Thomas Bryant will end up having, like, a vintage, best game of his season just because it's against us kind of stuff. So, like, this is gonna be one of those things that tells us, I think, what we're really in store for this season. Like, can a Bub Carrington, if he gets guarded by Terry Rozier, like, still show out the same way? So I think, this is a real test for this Wizards team early, and the way Spolstra coaches, like, they're gonna have those guys ready to play and well scouted, and we'll see if, Bilal can still get downhill and those sorts of things. So it should be a fun one at least.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you right now, that is you just brought up something, Bub Rozier.
Mhm.
If I don't see a fight break out, I'm gonna be thoroughly surprised. I'll be honest with you. That when you talk about the grit of those 2 guys, man,
Yep.
if, there we might see a little bit of pushing and shoving happening right there. Might be, as some would say, some furniture might be moving during that game. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be pretty interesting. But look, you said it before, right? Negative, positive, right? We're here to evaluate the team.
Yep.
And look, like we said before, Cleveland is 6-0, Boston is 6-1. Those are our 2 losses.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
They're really good.
and when you look, if you're in a rebuilding, deconstruction phase, whatever it is, and you see that you lost to the 2 top teams, it is what it is, right? It's kind of what's
Mhm.
expected. We got blitzed, boom, right? But then you beat an Atlanta Hawks team that was looking to still stay in the mix, which they are. And
Mhm.
currently they're at 2-4. We're at 2-2, and we saw some great things, right? We've seen from all games, we've seen great things, from Poole, right? You've seen a different type of Poole, and then let's just give Bilal his praise right now, right? Like Bilal is really turning into a star in front of our eyes. Now, again, maybe that's the rose tinted glasses, being Wizards fans, but you have to be excited for what you've seen from him in this sophomore season, which I can't remember the last time we've seen any rookie in their sophomore season really excite us like this. And outside of
Sure.
maybe John, and I'm not even talking
Mhm.
about Beal. Beal wasn't even that exciting to me in his
Mhm.
sophomore season, right? That took a few years. So, seeing Bilal and where he's going, and then seeing the young guys, right? You're seeing Bub, being a dog, right? You're seeing Keyshawn, even if the scoring's not there, right? He's doing what he can. Same thing with Sark. You're seeing the defensive impact immediately. So, from this game, all I'm expecting is a little bit of that same consistency and to win, focus on quarter by quarter, right? If you can win one quarter, you can win the second quarter. You just give yourself the opportunity to be in the mix to win the
Mhm.
game in the fourth. That's it.
Ace of Stripe in the chat here totally agrees with you. If we can hang into the fourth, it's a win, he said. So I like the confidence. If you are watching this on YouTube, please hit like for us. We always appreciate that. Rate, review, subscribe, all that big stuff too. Just a couple of these, and we'll close it out. Travis Wigfall says, "Let's get over 500 tonight. That would be awesome." Bayern Man 12 said, "Maybe the Heat press for Giannis if the Bucks wheels fall off." Like Pat Riley will always try something. I don't know that they have the intriguing enough pieces to get it done there. Maybe it's Jovic, Jaquez, Khalil Ware, Pella Larson, and whatever first round picks they have. And you just hope for the best. But, we'll see. The other one here, it never makes no sense, says, "Did you see the report from Jake Fisher that the Wizards are trying to trade all the vets?"
Yep.
I would be
Yep.
disappointed if they weren't. I mean, how actively they're shopping them. I think that means just, hey, we're open for business. And if somebody sees a piece that they need that we have, like anybody can go. I don't know that that means we should expect all the vets to, short order be out of here, but we'll see. And then he also says, "When was the last time the national media was excited about any of our guys?" Like yeah, it doesn't happen very often around here, other than the entire Miami Heat fan base wanting to trade for Bradley Beal that year. So that was about the only time we got any national pub.
Yeah, the Wall Beal uh, days were probably our best bet
Mhm.
for those national media days, and even when they were at their peak, I don't remember us getting too many national games. So, but here's the hoping that that's going to be on the change in the next couple of years, especially if in this next draft, right, we're collecting multiple first round picks from these guys that we're going to be trading off, and you just put yourself in the mix to just grab all that talent in the draft.
Yeah, just as many swings of the bat as you can. Not gonna go 3 for 3 like they did in this last draft in every draft, so gonna need a
Yeah.
couple more, cracks at this thing. DJ, just to wrap us up here, any predictions for tonight?
Yeah, I think we're going to see some continuation from Poole and Bilal, right? I
Mhm.
don't think maybe Bilal has another career night in scoring, but I think you're going to see a lot of defensive consistency. And man, I just get this feeling like and Sar might have his first double double. Bold
I like
prediction.
that. There
Sar
you
has
go.
his first double double, 10 points, 10 rebounds, and you're just seeing the consistency on defense and him getting after Bam, and Bam's gonna, prove he's a vet at the end of the day. But I think Sarah hang in there.
I'm feeling a big bub game. I don't know why. Got that sort of in my head now, and it also seems like a good Jordan Poole goes off kinda night too. If they put, like, a Tyler Hero or somebody on him, like, he could really cook.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one a lot too.
All right, everybody. The plan is to be back here post game. It'll be late, so anybody who wants to join us, like, get ready to lock in, get your caffeine ready, and we'll see you back here in a couple hours. So, DJ, thank you for doing this. For anybody who hasn't already subscribed, go check out the Chocolate City Hoops podcast. Really good. DJ's doing like the most unique thing in Wizards podcasting, which is actual people in studio together, which is very cool. And it's nice enough to have me on. So, thank you again for doing that, and thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, awesome. Anytime, man. Love it.
All right, everybody have fun. We'll talk to you all soon. And again, hit that like button for us. We're presented by betonline.ag, and we will catch you all in a couple hours.